Welcome to episode 262 of the AHRC Marathon Training Vlog. MK here, and it's Friday! Finally, it's Friday! I woke up pretty early this morning because the kids had a medium long run that started at 5 a.m. Hayden ran 10 miles, all at 8:50 per mile, and Cole, Evan, Johan, and Denny they all went 12 miles, with 4 miles at 8 minutes per mile, 4 miles at 7 minutes and 30 seconds per mile, and 4 miles at 7 minutes per mile. So today was a nice progression run that took everybody over 12 miles from easy pace down to steady state pace. So AHRC was out for a little bit over an hour and a half, and I took that time to do some strength work while they were running. I was able to get in some core work, a little bit of upper body work, and I did several sets of squats and lunges. Got back home, got the kids off to school, and walked Evan to school, and actually feeling a little bit optimistic because I'm feeling a lot less pain today than in previous days. I've been pretty reluctant to walk Evan to school in the last several days for fear of worsening my injury. So it was really nice to be able to spend that time with her on the walk over to school. So we're now 5 weeks and 2 days from the Ventura Marathon. And if things work out and I'm able to get back out and running again by next week, then that'll give me a little less than 5 weeks to prepare for the Ventura Marathon. And it looks like I'll have the fitness that I will need to run about 13 miles at Evan's marathon pace. And if that's the case, then I'll tentatively plan on joining her by dropping down to the half marathon, which starts in the middle of the point-to-point marathon course, and then do a 90-minute warm-up until she gets there. So hopefully things work out and I can get back to running sooner than later and be able to at least run with Evan for half of her marathon race. Today, we're going to talk about how to plan long run workouts. A lot of people ask me, aren't you supposed to do all your long runs just at easy pace? Others ask me, if I just do my long runs only at easy pace, am I going to be ready for my marathon race? And the answer to both of those questions are yes. Physically, you could be prepared for your marathon race by doing all of your long runs only at easy pace. However, that might be a different story mentally. The marathon is a long race. It's a long time that you spend out on that course. And there are a lot of opportunities for your brain to try to convince you to stop. So today, I'm going to talk about how I integrate workouts into long runs in order to instill the confidence that I need to finish a marathon race with confidence and aggression all the way to the finish line. Let's go. So I'm going to classify all of the runs that are 12 miles or longer as long runs. And the frequency of those long runs will be anywhere between 1 time for beginners to up to 3 times for advanced runners. I have 2 goals when I plan long run workouts. Goal number 1 is to maintain run type balance within each week. And goal number 2 is to create a progression of increased intensity or volume over 16 weeks or however long your marathon training build is. All right, first, let's talk about maintaining run type balance. So there are a bunch of different run types, and I'm going to go with the type of runs that Jack Daniels lays out in his running philosophy. So from slowest running type to fastest running type, we have easy pace runs, marathon pace runs, lactate threshold runs, interval runs, and repetition runs. The maximum weekly volume for each of these types of runs to maintain weekly balance is 30% for easy pace runs, 20% for marathon pace runs, 10% or a maximum of 10K, whichever comes first for lactate threshold, 8% or 30 minutes, whichever comes first for interval, and 5% for repetition. When I'm planning out the workout for the long run, whether it's a 12 to 15 mile run during the weekday or a 16 mile run or longer during the weekend, I look at all of the workouts during the week and I try to maintain these percentages of run types in order to maximize progress and maintain good health and stay injury free. So let's take a look at a snapshot of what the kids did this week so that you can have a better idea of how I maintain this balance. On Monday, the kids had a recovery run. On Tuesday, they had an interval run with 8 1Ks at 5K race pace. Then on Wednesday, they had a medium long run of 15 miles with speed play, 10 2-minute ons with 1-minute offs at threshold pace. On Thursday, they had a recovery run plus speed, 5 70-meter hill sprints, and then Friday today, they had another medium-long run of 12 miles. Saturday is scheduled for a recovery run, and Sunday is scheduled for a long run of 20 miles with 14 miles at marathon pace. So I take a look at the schedule, and I see that we had repetition type of running on Monday and Thursday, and that was well within our 5% max limit. I see that we did intervals on Tuesday, and we did 6K of intervals on Tuesday. So that takes us pretty much to our limit for the interval type of run workout. Then on Wednesday, we did about 20 minutes of threshold running, and that leaves about 20 more minutes that we could fit into the schedule before we hit our max of 10K. So actually, today we should have done about 20 more minutes of threshold work within our medium long run, since we're not going to do any threshold work on our Sunday run. However, I leave a little bit of room for flexibility within the schedule, and I don't feel like I have to hit the max every single week. Cole was complaining a lot about really heavy and tight legs throughout this entire week. He's a very, very strong runner, and the workouts weren't too hard for him, but there are a lot of factors that could contribute to it, whether it's poor sleep, poor nutrition, a little bit of stress at school, a little bit of stress at home. All of those pressures are real, and they can add to pressure that is applied during workouts. So I made today's 12-mile run a progression run that took Cole and everyone else only to the slow end of easy pace, down to the fast end of easy pace, and past that into steady state pace running. I also had them go out on a course where the very end of the course had a gentle, long, and steady incline. And although coming up that hill at 7 minutes per mile is not going to take Cole and Evan to lactate threshold heart rate, it'll at least apply enough pressure to get them to LT1. And even though it's not 20 minutes of LT1, it's a reasonable compromise in light of the fact that Cole is having a little bit of a hard time and his condition isn't 100%. And even though Evan is pretty healthy and she's physically 100% right now, there would be a trade-off if she were to do a workout on her own rather than with the group. So looking at the big picture, not going to force anything, and it's better for the entire run club to run together, enjoy some companionship, and have a positive run experience 2 days before a really difficult long run coming up on Sunday. The second goal of long run planning is to create a progression over the entire 16-week span or whatever time period that you've chosen for your training build. So be sure to lay down milestones. So the major milestones for long runs would be marathon pace running. Remember, although the physiological benefit of marathon pace running isn't giant, meaning you get all of your aerobic benefit from running easy pace, which is much slower, and you get all of the other benefits like VO2 max building and lactate threshold building by running much faster at interval speeds and threshold speeds. But running at marathon pace instills a lot of confidence. Like I said at the beginning of this video, the marathon is a very long race. And if you spend more time running at marathon pace and you're familiar with the cadence, the stride length, taking gels at marathon pace, drinking at marathon pace, talking to your fellow runners around you at marathon pace, breathing at marathon pace, looking at your watch at marathon pace, and even taking turns at marathon pace, you will feel less pressured and less stressed on race day. So I lay down milestones of doing continuous marathon pace runs at 5 weeks to race day, 9 weeks to race day, and 13 weeks to race day. And then we'll build a progression of 10, 12, and 14 miles. And based on those milestones, I'll create workouts on the Sunday long run that'll get me closer to those milestone continuous pace runs of 10, 12, and 14 miles. I'll leave a card for you at the end of this video of yesterday's vlog, which describes a little bit more detail on how to plan those workouts out with more specific details. For midweek runs, we like to use fartleks to add in the necessary run type in order to fill out the maximum limit of each run type. Fartleks are pretty convenient because you can pretty much run at any run type. We accomplish this by running intervals at 1 minute ons and threshold at 2 minute ons. And in the beginning of the training build, when we're not yet doing track sessions, we do 10 2-minute ons and 10 1-minute ons so that we can get every run type in there. But now that we're going into more race-specific training, and we have track sessions each week, and we do threshold runs every other week, we switch up the fartleks to fill out the run type limit based on the workouts within that week. And since we also want to maintain progression over the course of the weeks, we keep an eye on our paces for each of those workouts during speed play and our heart rate. And we try to either maintain the pace or go faster than the previous week, or maintain the pace during the offs or go faster than the previous week. And that's pretty much how I plan all of our long run workouts. Speaking of planning workouts, Megan is on her first week of Boston Marathon training build. Let's jump in on her and see how her last week of base building went.
Hey Coach, I just wanted to pop on and check in regarding last week's workouts. So we ran about 49 miles last week. I had two 9-mile runs, a couple of recoveries, and then a long cold run on Sunday, which was 17 miles. We're still just kind of keeping it easy and getting back into the flow of things. Felt really good, except for that it was 23 degrees on Sunday when I started my run, so pretty cold. But other than that, feeling great. Just wanted to check in. Talk to you later. Bye.
That's awesome. I'm really excited to get Megan's weekly report for her very first week of workouts for her Boston Marathon. It was pretty warm over here this morning. The kids got to run without a jacket and gloves for the first time in a while. The rest of the United States is going through some really tough freezing weather conditions. My good friend Murray Hung is doing his best to stay warm while he's running through the snow. I hope that all of you running in the Northern Hemisphere are able to get out and run in the cold weather. Hey, thanks for coming with me all the way to the end of this talk. Be sure to like this video, help out the algorithm, and get this video out to more people. Smash that subscribe button. It really helps out our channel a ton. And I'm not running right now, but you can still follow me on Strava by searching for Michael Kim at AHRC. I'm going to jump back on it real soon, I promise. Follow us on Instagram by searching for AHRC, and leave a comment below if you have a question or if you want to hear a talk about a particular topic. I have a good feeling that I'll be able to vlog and run real soon, so I hope to see you then. And I also hope that you have a great day and a meaningful run. We'll see you in the next one. All right, bye now. Oh, and I almost forgot. This weekend, I'm going to do an unboxing of some Path Project gear. So please be sure to subscribe so that you can win apparel from Path Projects. All right. Thanks a bunch.